All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Mistakes. So if you've been following the series, I've talked about reading mistakes, listening mistakes, and now we're going to talk about speaking mistakes. And it's great that you're here right now because make sure that you don't make these common mistakes so you can improve your speaking. This is all about improvement. This is all about getting better over time. And so that's a little tricky. You know, if you're just watching YouTube videos and TV shows, it's going to be more difficult for you to see improvement. So these mistakes are mostly because you don't improve when you do it this way. So make sure when you're practicing speaking, you avoid these mistakes. And before I start, actually, I want to tell you about my own mistake. So this is me plus basketball equals mistake. Let me explain. When I was a kid, I played basketball a lot. I was pretty good at it. I was better than most of the other kids in my class and in my neighborhood. As I got older, however, I was still the same level, but everyone else got better, but I stayed the same level. I was never good with my left hand. So instead of practicing with my left hand and trying to use my left and right hand to dribble, to take shots, and so on, I ignored it. I just focused on what I was good at. I like shooting. I just kept practicing shooting, and I was pretty good at shooting. But then everybody else started being able to dribble better. They started to use their left and their right. I stayed the same level, and they kept improving. You don't want to make the same mistake. You have to focus on your weaknesses. That's one of the first things here, is that you ignore your weaknesses. Now, how do you know what your weaknesses are? The best thing that you can do is to have a professional teacher tell you what they are. So at TOEFLSpeakingTeacher.com, where I work, is there we do speaking evaluations. You get on a 30-minute Skype call with a teacher, and they will tell you a couple of TOEFL questions. You'll answer the questions, and they tell you what you did well, what you didn't do well, and how you can improve your speaking. And so that's a really great way for you to not fall into the same trap as me by ignoring your weaknesses. Maybe you know what your weaknesses are, but if you're anything like me and like people in general, what you hear is very different than what other people hear. So very important that you get a teacher to tell you what you need to do. Okay, so don't be like me when I was a kid. You're always going to stay at the same level unless you focus on your weaknesses. Okay, so that's a really big one. I mean, I can't really emphasize this enough. Like, you need to focus on your weaknesses. You're probably at a pretty high level of English at this point, and so there's like these small little things that are holding you back, right? You need a teacher to tell you what to do, to tell you how to break past that level to get to the English fluency level, which is what a TOEFL speaking score of 26 means, by the way. That means you're fluent in English. That's tough, right? That's hard to prove. Make sure you know what your weaknesses are. If you don't have a teacher, ask a friend, ask somebody else who speaks English fluently, and then they will tell you what you can do, okay? And the next one is you don't record your voice. So again, what people hear is not what you hear. I always thought I had a very deep voice until I heard myself on a recording. And then I heard myself and I was like, wow, my voice is not deep at all. And it was a very sad day. I know you don't like the sound of your own voice. I don't like the sound of my own voice. I don't think anybody likes the sound of their own voice because it's not what we hear. But that's what the graders hear, the TOEFL graders. That's what everybody that you're talking to hears. Okay, so you have to record your voice. This is kind of like a TOEFL Speaking 101 thing. Like, you need to do this. Like, if you don't do this, you're never going to get above a 20 on TOEFL Speaking. If you're not recording your voice, you're not going to improve. You have to listen to yourself. This is for any language learner, not just English, but just any language learner. They have to record their voice. It's so powerful because you finally hear what other people hear. Okay, next one is you try to fix everything. Yeah, don't try to fix everything. And I put a little X on a mouth there to show you that when you try to fix everything, you're going to get frustrated. And you can't fix everything at one time. You might have some pronunciation problems. You might sound a little robotic when you speak. What you have to do is that you have to focus on one problem at a time, one kind of weakness at a time. You have that focus on one, and that's going to help you grow in the future. Too many students do a lot of practice. They do a lot of different questions. I think that's, so I'm going to talk about these two together. Number 4 is you don't repeat questions. A lot of students practice a lot. They go from one question to the next, to the next, to the next, and that's a mistake. You need to focus very deeply on answering one question correctly, not just for the speaking, but for every section in general. Is you have this intense focus on one question, and you repeat that question over and over and over again until it's perfect, until it's exactly how you want it to be. And that process will help you learn in the future how to answer. Like, okay, I know I can do it perfectly. I did it perfectly that one time. This is how I did it. This is how I have to do it for the other questions. You want to make sure that you do one question very well and then move on to the next question. Okay? So don't just practice a bunch. Focus on one thing. Focus on one speaking task. Do it multiple times, 3, 4, 5 times. If you're getting frustrated, if you're getting annoyed, then stop, relax, take a breath, go for a walk. Being frustrated is not going to help you very much. But if you're open to the process and you're like, okay, I can do it, I'm going to do it again, keep trying until you get it just how you want it to sound. Okay? And one way to do that is just to focus on one problem at a time. Let's say you have trouble with pronouncing the words that end with ER, some like razor and laser. Then focus on those sounds. Focus on a week, 2 weeks, however long it takes you, and then move on to the next thing. All right? So that's we're moving pretty fast, so it's good. Don't ignore your weaknesses. Focus on them. Record your voice. What people hear is not what you hear. You don't try to fix everything. Go one at a time. And the way that you really know what your weaknesses are is that you repeat questions so you can get better and better and work on your weaknesses. And the last thing is you have no feelings. Yeah, so sometimes it sounds like you're responding to a test question. You don't feel what you mean. You see, feel. You got to feel it. You have to feel the words. What you say has to match your emotion. Maybe you don't care. Is it better to work in a group or by yourself? Like, I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me. You have to sound like you care about this. You have to sound like it's something that you care deeply about. Man, I really like working by myself, because I've been in groups before and a lot of people are lazy. They don't work as hard as me. And then I end up doing all the work because it's not the same. So you see how I'm feeling what I'm saying. I'm not saying like, I think that I would like to work by myself for 2 reasons. The first reason that I want to work by myself is that you're not feeling. You're not feeling the words. You got to feel what you're saying. Okay? All right, so that's it. Those are the 5 mistakes that most students make that we hear a lot about. Our website, TOEFLSpeakingTeacher.com, this is what we do. This is what we're good at, is speaking. I mean, we're good at the whole TOEFL in general, but also, the speaking is where we really shine. So if you have any questions, take a look at our website and make sure you check out this evaluation, see if you want to get a professional TOEFL teacher to listen to you, help you out, tell you what you did well, what you didn't do well, and tell you how you can improve. All right? So, all right, guys, I'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.